It was 6 to 7 years of trial and error, 6 to 7 years of no formal education, 6 to 7 years of just watching some videos online and trying stuff on your own. And of course, failing and losing a lot of money. There are a lot of scammers out there. I paid for courses which didn't work out. I attended so many seminars, just trying to identify, the right set of people. I started an account June this year, evaluating everything. And by mid-August, I had the account. For me, trading is freedom. Trading is literally God giving me the paintbrush to paint my own destiny.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris, and I run a Forex mentorship called Strong Money Forex. CTI have very kindly asked me and invited me to host their new podcast, where I'm getting to meet and interview some really interesting traders from around the world. Today, we're talking to Legima, who has started the Forex industry just like anyone else really, but has grown a platform, an education company, and is now moving into his own prop firm and capital company. It's a really incredible story that's been built upon some fantastic motivation and morals, and I had a real great time interviewing him. He's a really interesting chap. He's got a great understanding of the Forex market, and he's been through everything that all of you guys are going through right now, and all of those trials and tribulations. What's incredible for me on this journey of interviewing these people is that everybody goes through the same thing. Everybody goes through the same problems. Everybody goes through the same difficulties, and no one's immune to it, but everyone can beat it with enough time and patience. So I'm really excited to show this one to you. If you're not doing so already, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you can catch the next podcast, and I hope you enjoy. We're joined today with Legima, the founder of Wade Rider FX, which, as I understand, is a kind of a trading mentorship academy. Is that right? Did I get that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
And what do you do? Give us a bit of a kind of a brief introduction to you, Legima, and what you do and your journey so far.
Great. So my name is Legima Nulatitanji. I'm a Cameroonian. I'm a currency analyst. I don't like calling myself a foreign exchange trader because it's a terminology that's kind of a little bit thrown around and is misused and it's used to steal. So I like calling myself a currency analyst because that's what I am. I analyze just currencies. I'm a full-time currency analyst. I'm also an educator. So I teach people how to analyze markets and how to invest in these markets, because every trade you're ever going to place to make profits is an investment, literally. So basically, my story is very, very simple. I first heard about trading in 2009 because I come from a background of finance at the University of Buea. University of Buea is in Cameroon. If you're Cameroonian, you're watching this, you should know University of Buea. It's one of the most reputable universities in the country. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was studying banking and finance, and my doctor, he's now a professor, by the way, Professor Mahmouda, taught us a finance course called Financial Derivatives and Financial Markets. And literally in that course, one of the markets that he presented or taught us about, like introductory basic stuff, was the foreign exchange market. And what really, the seed that he really sowed in me throughout that course was that he made a statement that really, he stood with me and pushed me to this direction. He said by the time they had finished their program, his course mates who got involved in foreign exchange trading were able to raise the remainder of their school fees from trades. So I was like, what? Is this possible? This is sometime in 2009, no social media, no Facebook, no Instagram.
What time?
So for me at the time, that's 2009 to 2010ish.
So in just a year of this education, they were able to raise the fees for the That was let me be more clear. Let me clear what I was saying. Okay.
He said back when he was in the university, probably a 2005 to 2003, because at that time he finished university, finished his PhD, and he was a university professor lecturing us. So he told us that in his time he didn't get involved with trading, but his course mates were able to do that. So pretty much in his time. But he didn't teach me anything. Basically, from that time moving forward, I was still a young student studying banking and finance. I did a lot of research. I made a lot of errors. When I finished university, I didn't really go full swing into trading. I was trying stuff here and there. You know the way it is, man. when you don't have structured mentorship, it can be really difficult. So for me, really, it was 6 to 7 years of trial and error. 6 to 7 years of trial and error. 6 to 7 years of no education, of no formal education. 6 to 7 years of just watching some videos online and trying stuff on your own, and of course, failing and losing a lot of money. So for me, my story really changed, because after university, I love tech. I love technology. I actually went into business consulting, which is SAP. I did SAP, so I'm actually certified software engineer in SAP, and I've worked with the likes of Accenture. So within that time, I was in the corporate world. For me, the corporate world was a very, very good. It was a blessing for me at the time. But I realized one thing. I literally did not have any control of my life. I had to be dictated when I had to wake up, when I had to go on vacation, when I had to sleep, when I had to eat. I felt like I was living in a box. So for me, I looked at trading at the time, and I looked at some of the people that I was watching online. And for me, I saw freedom. I saw human beings, who were literally in control of their life, who were literally in control of their story. And for me, I was all about, I want this kind of life. I want to be able to determine, what my future will be. So when I had to renew my contract with Accenture, I mean, that actually didn't work out. I came back to Cameroon. That was around 2017, the on and off, so I have some trading knowledge, but it's not structured.
Yeah.
I was able to secure, because I wanted to take my formal education at least to the master's level, with the support of my family. My family has been my backbone throughout my journey. I was able to secure admission to study strategic management, a master's degree in strategic management, and MBA in strategic management at the University of the West of Scotland, London campus. So 2017, literally, I find myself in London, and I tell myself, I've been at this for a while. Although I'm here to do my MBA, what I'll try to do is that I'll try to formalize, my trading education kind of, as well. And at the same time, also do my MBA. So literally, I had this one opportunity, and I was using one stone to shoot two birds.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very challenging ride, to first of all, meet the right people, because like with everything, if you're looking at especially the education side of trading, there are a lot of scammers out there. So I paid for courses which didn't work out. I attended so many seminars, just trying to identify, the right set of people. And I was able to meet certain people, that really formally taught me how to trade.
Yeah.
Some of them I met online, which I will mention, I believe, at some point in this interview, because I think there's a slot for that. And it really kind of structured the knowledge I had in trading. But what I'd like to say is, regardless of the structure that I had, it all comes down to psychology. Because I realized when I went back to the market, if I didn't have like a stable mindset, I would still lose, despite all the courses I've paid for, despite all the fees I've paid for. I remember there was a course that used to cost like £2,000 a week, and I did it once, and that was it for me, because like if I was looking at the returns that I had from that course against what I was making on the market, it didn't make sense. Yeah. So, lots of challenges for me. So basically, fast forward 2023, I'm here. I'm doing well for myself. I've been able to set up a company, and I'm inspiring so many people today.
Amazing. And, I think, we had a conversation the other day about what you've achieved so far. It's a pretty incredible story. So I just want to step back a little bit, just to dig into the details a little bit more. So when you first went to school and you started this course was it business analyst, did you say?
You mean my program in the UK, or the one
when you first went to school, right at the beginning, you started?
Yeah. I was doing banking and finance.
Banking and finance. Okay. And so when you went and joined that, when you ultimately went into that course, what was your expectation? What were you thinking you were going to become at the end of that?
Going into that course, you won't believe it, I thought I was going to be a banker in Cameroon somewhere.
No way. But, as in like a bank teller, effectively?
Like a bank teller, like a bank manager.
And
But you get into the field, you start studying it, and you do one or two internships, and you realize that it's really kind of a routine job.
yeah,
And it actually gets boring at a certain point. So I think banking and finance was like the gateway for me to even know about foreign exchange trading as a profession.
yeah.
So I am really grateful for that, because if I didn't go to the University of Goya and had that experience, then I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today, Chris.
And that's it. And I think, that I have a saying that the universe unfolds as it should. I think, we are on this journey ultimately, and we are set out in front of us various different pathways. And I think, some of us will choose to take those risks, and others, will stay on the main, more the stable path. And you've obviously taken that risk, and you've done really well with it, which is amazing. What was the turning point for you? Do you remember that moment where you were saying to yourself, do you know what? I've started this course. Ultimately, I want to be, a banker or whatever it may be, but I need to change everything now. And, there's things that come with that. You've got to tell your family, you've got to tell your friends, you've got to change your dreams and your goals effective. Do you remember what that turning point was?
I think that turning point would be, for me, when I returned to Cameroon from the UK.
Okay.
Because
so whilst you were studying in the UK, you were still in your head, you were still going to be a banker.
In my head at the time, I was thinking I was going to actually get back into my business consulting, because I know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I was hoping to land a job. I actually almost got one, but I was refused due to immigration stuff for Africans. It's complicated.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this MBA. Then I'm going to go back into business consulting, finding something stable for myself, like a secure job. But on the flip side, I was seeing how traders were performing. So I told myself, rather than doing this, because prior to coming back to Cameroon, I had already developed like a really good strategy for myself. I was doing well for myself. So I told myself, maybe I can set up a business. By the way, I have an MBA, a master's in business administration. Why not set up something that is robust and give people services, and also empower people with your knowledge, and make people's lives better? Amazing. So once I came back, I set up a business plan for myself. I was able to raise some money from trading, and here we are today at the office. So since 2020, that's been going well for me. I've had my ups and downs as well with the business, but for the most part, it's been good.
Amazing. So before you set up the business, then ultimately, you were making money. Was that specifically through Forex?
I was making money through trained a couple of people, and through Forex. So both ways. Yeah. So it's always been both ways for me, because I don't believe in just having a single source of income.
Yeah, fair enough. And do you remember your turning point in terms of when you became profitable? Because I think, most traders go on that journey where they have those initial wins, they start winning some money, they start thinking, you get that invincibility feeling. You maybe do a prop firm challenge, you might pass phase 1, you might pass phase 2, you might get your live account and you blow it all. And there's that precipice, isn't there, where you're not quite at profitability. You think that you are, but you're not quite there. When was that for you?
That would be probably 2017-ish, 2018-ish.
Okay.
That's when it really clicked for me.
Yeah.
Especially psychologically wise, Yeah. And speaking of psychology, I don't know, maybe your questions will prompt me, but let me just throw it out there. Even for people who are very, very profitable in the market, I don't know if it's happened to you, Chris, you can be the best analyst out there, but if you have very, very negative energies or very, very negative extenuating circumstances that surround you, it could break down your psychology. And that happened to me around 2021.
Yeah.
And I literally lost some of my prop accounts because of that. Yeah. But again, that's why you need a strong family background. If my family weren't around me, literally, I wouldn't be here talking to you as a profitable analyst again. So psychology is a very, very important part of the game.
And I think you have to, I think the thing is with psychology is that I think it's one of those buzzwords, isn't it? A lot of traders, whether it's on social media, YouTube, whatever it is, they talk about mastering psychology and things like that. Yeah. But it's almost like maturity. Okay. It's one of those things that cannot be forced. It cannot be taught. it has to come with time and experience. And there's no shortcut to mastering your psychology. It just comes with time. And I think that's one of the most difficult things, that moment where you knew you were profitable around 2017, and it sounds like you had a good few years. You were probably making some money, probably not as much as you are now, but probably making some money. And then 2021, it was very, very similar for me. I had my big collapse kind of end of 2021 where I lost all my prop accounts. I remember being sat on my sun lounger on holiday, my favorite place in the world, taking one too many trades, doing those stupid things of kind of over trading, revenge trading. And I blew all my accounts in one. They were all linked up to each other and I blew them all in one. And I remember thinking, what has just happened? And I quit trading for a couple of months. I quit trading for a couple of months. And I think it takes you to go through those motions to really start mastering it. And what's, for me, I find really interesting is that my strategy hasn't really changed much in the last 6 to 12 months, but it's probably 3, 4, 5 times more profitable now than it was back then.
That's right.
Because I'm just so much more selective these days. I think so many traders, they have profitable strategies, but they don't know how to follow their rules. That comes with time and conditioning. So many people abused back testing. I think back testing is a boring job. We all know it's boring, but it's part of the process, isn't it? And it conditions you. And I speak to so many traders in my own mentorship where they're like, oh, I'm so nervous around the markets and I can't do this and I can't do that. And I'm worried about this. And I'm like, you just need more experience with your strategy because with experience comes confidence. And it sounds like
just to throw it out there, I stumbled across this very, very powerful quote on TikTok earlier this week. And this is a guy who's been trading 30 plus years. And he said, humans are born as, when you're born human, when you come out of your mother's womb and you grow up, naturally you're a bad trader. Naturally, because of the human instincts, because of the natural emotions that you feel. So you have to teach yourself how to become a good trader, how to become emotionless. And that is part of the journey for most profitable analysts. They have to literally learn how to develop a trader's mindset.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that's why so many traders ultimately fail, is that it takes so long to develop that mindset. And like I said, there's no shortcut to it. It just comes with time. And I think so many people aren't patient enough. They don't give trading the respect that it deserves. It's so much more an art form than it is there's a set of rules that you need to follow for your strategy. But it's so much more like an art form. I see that these days is that I can look at a chart now and I can see price moving and I know what it's going to do. It gives me signals now that only I've learned through hours and hours and hours. Funny enough, I got asked by one of my students today, very similar question, how long is it going to take, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, look, they say to master any skill, it takes 10,000 hours of that skill, whatever it is. And I calculated that in the last 6 years, let's say I spent an average of 2 to 3 hours on the charts. For me, I've only spent around 3,000 to 4,000 hours trading, which means I'm nowhere near mastery. I've got 2.5 times more to go before I get really good. And I'm good now. Well, I think I'm good anyway. I'm making some good money, but hey, it's one of those, isn't it? One of those. Who knows what's around the corner?
Who knows what's around the corner?
That's it. Yeah. Okay, so Legima, we've got your trading that you do. That's one of your streams of income. We've got your Wave Rider FX Academy. You started that, was it in 2020, did you say?
2020, yeah.
2020, okay. 2020, And talk to me about that then. So that is an education platform that traders can come to you, or people that are brand new to trading, or do you take experienced traders on?
So Wave Rider FX Academy, like I said, is a specialized company that offers specialized services and specialized education.
Okay.
And can I quickly show you the academy?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, go for it. Take us on a little tour.
These are the seats. You can see right there. And
you teach like a teacher in a school, effectively.
Yeah.
I love that.
My whiteboard.
Amazing.
That's my whiteboard over there. So quick tour of the academy. So basically, for me, I believe Cameroonians. For me, my mindset was that if we're looking at the foreign exchange industry in Africa, first off. It is very, very advanced in Southern Africa, mainly South Africa.
Okay.
It is very, very advanced in parts of West Africa.
Okay.
I'm going to focus more on Ghana and Nigeria. But if we're looking at the Cameroonian market as a subset of the global foreign exchange trading industry, it is really, I won't call it the primitive stage, I'll call it the primary stage.
Okay.
Because if you're looking at steps of production, you have like the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary stage.
Yeah.
We're really at the primary stage.
Okay.
A lot of people here are still treating it like it's some sort of a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
They're not treating it like a serious career path.
Yeah.
That they can choose and literally, use it to grow over the course of time and become professional analysts and actually earn like them. So I couldn't, when I came back here, I did some market research, talked to people physically. And the only way for me to break this barrier, because it's like this get rich quick scheme mindset in Cameroon is like a barrier. The only way for me at the time to break through was to, teach people. So what I decided to do is I started creating my training program sometime around 2019, because I came back to Cameroon 2018, around 2019, after talking to people, gathering information, I started creating my program. And literally in my program, if you look at my program, you'll find the standard definitions, but the core of the program is my experiences on the market. And I think that's why I'm winning, because literally I said, if I teach people this skill, if I find a way to transfer this information to people, then it's literally going to reduce their learning curve.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem that we have out here. People want to learn how to trade, but they don't want to take time and get proper structured education. Yeah. So for me, I didn't, my plan when I was setting up this company, which is an education company, was that I'm going to teach people trading in such a way that after 3 months, because my course is 3 months in length, after 3 months of training, literally, you can pick up a prop firm challenge and you pass it. I've had guys do that after 2 weeks over here, and they're managing funded accounts right now. So the whole plan was to set a platform, not just for Cameroonians, for everyone. You can be in England, you can be in the US, in such a way that once you come to Wayfinder FX Academy, you're not going to spend 6 to 7 years like myself, like I did, trying and failing, trying different things and failing, standing and falling down, because that was literally my journey. And I thank God that I've been able to, again, with the support and the backing of my family, because they give me a very, very conducive environment to work, I've been able to today train over 40 analysts in Cameroon, and what I've been able to do is that I've been able to not just train them, but I've been able to actually create certified licensed portfolio managers, because once you pass a prop firm challenge, you're literally licensed, by that company to manage their funds. So today I have a couple of them here in Cameroon, not too many of them. A couple of them learned and they went abroad and they're doing well for themselves. So for me, my approach to this market is that through my education, hopefully one day I'll be able to change, this get rich quick scheme mindset that we have in the industry here in Cameroon, which is really, really messing people up. Because you find people, they're coming into the industry thinking that, oh, if I'm paying you this money to learn, then next month I'm going to be a millionaire. I literally just had to deal with that last month. And I actually, because the guy was bothering me too much, I don't do refunds, but I had to do a refund out of his fees, just like to get rid of him. So it's a very, very tough challenge for me. It's an uphill task for me because I'm doing this amazing work, but guess what? There are guys who are out there just getting money from people and not giving the service in return. There are guys who are out there here in Cameroon as well that are doing flyers to discredit me, that my fees are too high, going to that extent. So, I'm objective driven, and I know exactly what I'm trying to achieve. And I know by next year, if I'm talking with you, Chris, this would have changed, because I have a project that is running, and by next year you'll start paying people out. So that is going to change everything here in Cameroon.
Well, we need to put a date in the diary then and make sure this time next year we have a catch up, and that's your deadline. You got to make sure it's done. No, as we like to do in these podcasts, we are going to jump over to the charts now. We're going to have a look at some of your, how you trade, the sort of things that you're looking for, and hopefully give a really good insight to some of our viewers as to kind of what you're looking for and how a professional trader at, right at the top of his game. And, with what you've got going, you've got an education platform, you've got, a capital company, you're effectively growing a prop firm, which is pretty incredible. This is an elite standard trader, guys. So if you're watching this, make sure that you take heed, make sure you listen, take on his advice. And the next part of the video, I'm sure you'll be able to pick up some tips and some tricks and some ultimately a bit of strategy that you can include in your own trading as well. So over to you then, Legima. You're going to talk us through maybe a couple of setups, a couple of trades, your strategy, how you kind of look at the charts, what you're looking for, and things like that. So you fire away.
Good. So guys, first off, before I start this kind of a market breakdown, I actually have a YouTube channel where I do market breakdowns every week. Second week of the month, I always throw out my market breakdown, so you can check out my YouTube channel as well. But I only trade majors, right? I only trade majors. So anything that has the United States dollar in it, I trade. And the reason for me trading majors is because the liquidity is highest on the majors. And also, these majors are very, very stable. So the volatility won't be too high. You set a stop with a good strategy and a good trading plan, then you find yourself in a situation whereby the market literally, once it breaks out and retests, it goes to the next support or resistance level. So guys, this is euro dollar. Literally, I'm on a 4-hour chart. I'll just go to the daily chart, and we can literally, accept with me that if I'm doing a time analysis from July, literally, I'd say start of late July. I'd say July 17th, 2023. This market, if we're looking at the euro dollar, it's been on a downtrend. It's been on a downtrend, meaning it's been depreciating. It's been depreciating. It's been dropping. Now, one thing I advise people is that only trade trends. A trend is a movement of a market in one direction, with little retracements. So only trade trends. I do not advise to trade retracements because the movements are not really massive. So for me, I'm a trend trader, I'm a trend analyst, I only trade trends. But what I like to say as well is that for my trend lines, I'm assuming a lot of people watching us are going to be analysts, so they know what trend lines are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I only use the larger time frames to come out with my trend lines, because the larger time frames are more powerful. They kind of give you a panoramic view of the market, a better picture of the market. So we have a downward trend, a downward channel looking at us there. And for me, what I like to do is I like to look at recent data. So for me, what's recent data? I may drop down to a 4-hour chart there. I reset it for you guys, and it kind of brings the chart closer to me. And once I come to a lower time frame, like the 4-hour time frame or the 1 hour, 2-hour time frame, what I like to do is I just like to mark up my lower lows and lower highs. So I'm going to use a circle over here.
Do you have any kind of science or technique around your trend lines? I think people often get confused and lost with trend lines, how you should draw
Definitely.
them.
Once I'm putting my trend line, I like the trend line. Let me just take this off. I like the trend line to touch at least 2 points on the market. So this is touch 1 point. It's not really ideal for this market data that we have here, that we have like 2 points. And I don't like the trend line to be like slanted, like bent like this, or wait, let me just show you guys what we're talking about. So if we look at this daily chart, it's touched this point and it's touched this point. So for me, that works. But if you look at the dynamic support over here, it's touched, like we can have 1, 2, 3. That is still fine. So guys, don't just draw the trend line and let it hanging. Try as much as possible that it touches at least one of the price points.
And you include wicks in that rather than just bodies.
Yeah, I include everything because I prefer wicks, because wicks and candlesticks, because it's a candlestick chart, literally tells you the full story.
Yeah.
If you're looking just at maybe a line chart, or like a line chart like this, everything is smoothing out and even out, so you wouldn't really get market sentiment from there.
Yeah.
So I just prefer to go with candlesticks, because I teach candlesticks and it really tells the full story. So we have our trend line. It's a downward channel. The market is going downward. So what I like to do is I like to pop in maybe a couple of, turning points, and to sort of establish a good, trading channel. So what I do is I use a circle over there, lock it up, and I just look for like really good turning points, and I just put my circle there.
So these are your obvious kind of swing highs and swing lows.
Yeah, swing highs, swing lows.
And again, is there any science behind this, or is it just what makes sense?
Literally, I just follow market structure.
Yeah.
Like the market swung low here, retraced a bit, swung low, retraced. So this is clearly a retracement, a movement against the trend. Yeah. Then it creates that lower low again. So that's literally like just what I use. And I like to tell people, you have to put in the work. This is where education comes in, because a good mentor will tell you it is at this foundation stage when you're learning technical analysis that you have to really get out there on the charts and mark out as many charts as possible. I remember as an MBA student, I used to mark out about 24 charts a day because I wanted to be the best. So guys, you have to put in the work to get the results. So if you're learning how to trade, create time to really mark out these charts, because if you don't mark out charts, you're not going to train your eyes, and you'll not be able to recognize, these swings in the market.
And what's the reason? Let me see if I can draw on it. What's the reason? Let's see if this works.
Okay.
Oh. All right.
Just by moving the mouse, it changes. Yeah.
What's the reason that you're not considering this section here? Oh, hang on, probably not the right tool here. 2 seconds. Let me see.
I'm not considering.
You see what I mean? This bit here. What's the reason?
For me, that is past data. Remember, I said I'm trying to isolate recent data in the market, because what has happened here has happened.
Yeah.
The fundamentals that surrounded this, this sideways movement, it's past. I'm looking into next week, because like I always tell people, let me just take this off. Like I always tell people, the job of an analyst is to determine, let me just pick up the question mark. It should be somewhere here. Well, the job of an analyst is to determine what is going to be printed in this empty space next week.
Yeah.
That's literally what we're trying to predict. And my philosophy is to try and isolate the market. So if I just get in one low there, for me, that would be like the last one. And once that is done, then literally you have to mark out what? Support and resistance. Guys, market structure is so important. You cannot trade without your levels. And for me, this is one of the reasons why I only trade one market. This is the only market I trade. I mean, I can trade anything out there, but based on the fact that this market is the most liquid, if I'm looking at the majors, is the most stable, and is the most consistent in terms of movement, I've just chosen this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop in some support and resistance lines over there. I'm going to start from where I started marking up. So I'm going to lock it in over here. Resistance, support, resistance, support. I'm just marking it up randomly. Then I'll do some adjustments. So quick tip, I was taught by some very, very smart traders that when you're popping in your support and resistance lines, you need to understand that support and resistance is not a line. Support and resistance is a zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and engulf all my support and resistance lines with rectangles like that. I'm looking for the rectangle, right?
In your favorite spot at the bottom.
Yeah. So guys, this is what I always do. I'm going to explain really quickly at the end of this markup why I've done this. So by doing this, you can see for yourself that we're kind of starting to isolate the market, and now we have our levels. So if I want to complete this, one thing I always teach my guys is that I'll just move this support line down here because this is a clear support zone. Yeah, over there. Good, perfect. One thing I always tell people when I'm teaching them is that whether you're looking at a market that is in an upward trend or a market that is in a downtrend, the market respects levels. So if we're looking at this setup from here, from this point, I'll be more specific right now because I'm trying to isolate this market. If we're looking at this market from some sort of from the 27th of September, this market was able to come around this support and it rejected this level and retraced, right? Then it came back down to this zone, to this support level, which corresponds with our swing low. So basically, what story does that tell us? Probably this market is rejecting this zone because it may be a potential reversal that's in the way. But for me, I can't say that for sure because when I look at things fundamentally, we just had NFP, which was not so, it was actually the numbers were good for the US. But when we look at market reaction, so looking at market reaction, when that NFP came out on Friday, we had this drop in the euro over here. A Marubozu candle was printed. And then, the bears just left the market and we had this bullish, Marubozu candle over here. So for me, if I'm looking at next week and I'm trying to project, I'm going to isolate this whole zone from here to here. So if you look at this zone, this rectangle is like a mini support and resistance level. So if you're looking at this zone, you see that price is literally bouncing all around here. It's not going out of this zone. It came to this support and literally bouncing. So what would I be looking for next week if I have to trade this market? I'll be looking for two things. I'm looking for another tool. There it is. I'll be looking for a break of structure, of this structure, out of this structure. And of course, I'll be waiting for a retest and a continuation. I cannot target this level because this level is too close. And if I were to measure that, it will give me just about, I can't put my TP there. It will give me just about 30 points, which is good, but for some people it may not be good enough. Or so that is one scenario we can possibly see next week. Let me just take this off. Or the other scenario is that we can have, price just rejects and breaks down, retest again. Guys, there's always a retest. There's always a retest because the people who are moving the market in that direction must cash out. They have to close their trades. And once they close their trades, the retail traders are going to pull the market back in the opposite direction. So always wait for your retest. And if the big boys decide to move the market in that trend, then we'll see a move downwards. Obviously, this move downwards will be to the next support level. So I didn't mark that support level, but I think we can find it on a bigger time frame. Just find that here. So we can see that move downwards. So we are there. We can see it come here. So those are the two levels I'm looking at. And again, if that's a level, then definitely we'll be seeing price fall to that structure. But guys, remember, Chris, like I always tell people, all of these market movements depend on the fundamentals that we have out there. If the fundamentals support this projections, then definitely you will find price breaking down, retesting, coming to the support level, breaking down, retesting, coming to this resistance level. And I'll just use my entry strategies, which is on my course, to get into the trade.
Amazing. So really, really kind of clear setups that you've got there lined up, and I think that's really key. I did a video myself on my own, I think it was my YouTube the other day about how forecasting is so important. I think so many traders abuse the skill of forecasting, and they then trade so much off the feel of the marketplace or what things look like might happen. And I think as a trader we want to be in the markets all the time, but as an experienced trader you learn pretty quickly that actually being in the markets all the time is probably costing you a lot more money than needs be. And there's probably, EU, again, for me, is my preferred pair. Yeah. On EU. There's probably one, maybe 2, 3, 4, if you're really lucky, good setups a week.
Yes.
last week, for example, there for me, I know you weren't trading, but for me, there was a sell on the Monday. I didn't take it because I don't trade Mondays, and then it was a counter trend buy all the way back up, and that was kind of it. And the only trading that I did, kind of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, were just literally adding into my buy positions. And I think it's really important to do exactly what you do here every single week, weekend, whatever it may be, the day before, the day of. Sit on your charts, go to the higher time frame, plan and forecast what you want to happen based upon your strategic analysis and your strategic education, and then plan that trade. If the trade occurs, take it. If it doesn't occur, stay away from it. And I think that's a really important skill to learn. Thank you for that, Legima. I think that's a really good insight into how you look at charts and the way that you do it. It's quite interesting. For me, I don't really use trend lines, but the last two guests we've had on use trend lines, and you trend line really well. So I might start looking at those higher time frame daily trend lines. They can give you a bit of a guideline, which is quite interesting. So thank you for that. It's a great bit of analysis for our viewers here. Now, we're here because ultimately CTI have very kindly invited me to host their podcast for them. You're here because you are a funded CTI trader. And I think the company bosses would probably be very upset if we didn't have a bit of a conversation. Whilst we're having a lovely chat, I think the bosses would like us to have a bit of a conversation about CTI. It's a broker that personally I've been working with kind of in the background for many years. I was quite friendly with a few people within CTI right in the early days. And then I went off to do my own thing, start my own mentorship, traded with the various other prop firms. And then recently I came back across them. I think they had some interesting rules in their early stages that were different to other traders. They were very risk averse. I think they're very proud of the fact that they regularly A-list their customers, and that's why they were quite risk averse. But now, even following that same process, CTI, they have rules now which rival some of the bigger names, if you can call them that. And I think it won't be long before we see CTI, especially with the collapse of my Forex fund, which we won't talk about because I'm still very upset about it. I think, with the collapse of my Forex funds, I think CTI have got a real good opportunity for being one of the big players. They continually update their rules. They continually make their challenges and their prop firm better and better. How did you originally come across CTI?
I came across CTI personally through one of the co-founders.
Okay.
In 2018, I met Martin Narjar. At the time, I was a trader as well, but we were with another company. And I had the opportunity to actually sit on the table and work with Martin. I've created sessions with Martin. So when I came back to Cameroon, I think that was 2019. No, I think that was 2020. Martin sent me, I think it was an email that, hey, I think it was first of all WhatsApp, and then email, hey, Legima, amazing opportunity over here. I'm starting something I think you should be a part of. But unfortunately, it coincided, with me setting up my own company and the challenges I had in 2021 and everything. So I really didn't have the right frame of mind to come on board CTI. But I heard about CTI for the first time from my co-founder, which is amazing.
So you've met Martin in real life person. So I've known Martin
in real life person several times.
I've known him for quite a while, but for me, he's just a 2D image on a screen. So I've got no evidence that he actually exists. So this is good. This is good.
I actually have a picture with Martin that I can share with you after this. Personally,
I love it. I love to see it. So when did you first start trading with them then? Because you're funded by them now. You've got an account with them. When did you start that account? Roughly how long ago was it?
I think I started that account August this year.
Okay.
No, not August. I started that account June this year.
Okay.
Evaluation, everything. And by mid-August, I had the account.
Amazing. So you did a classic kind of evaluation, phase 1, phase 2?
It was actually a classic, phase 1, phase 2. It was a challenge account. It was 45 days. I like challenges. I wanted to challenge myself. My kind of my budget toward the time permitted me just to go for the challenge account. So I went for the challenge account, and today I'm a funded CTI trader.
Amazing. And how have you found them? How is the process of the phase 1 for phase 2 to live? What was that like?
I think when it comes to customer support, CTI really stands out, and that's one thing I appreciate from them. because personally, I've worked with other platforms, and the customer support has been really poor for certain instances. But with CTI, the Discord channel is there for you literally 24/7. And this is a really, really game changer, because there's some people that they're so busy in the week with their work that they don't have time, to literally reach out to support, on the website, or maybe the guys that they pay to answer customers are on weekends. But with the Discord channels, I've had issues actually resolved on a Sunday. So this is one thing that really makes CTI stand out, and I'm really, really grateful that I'm part of this team.
I think that's great to hear as well. And same for me. Like as I've mentioned, I'm not an employee of CTI. I'm a guest host effectively, and for someone like me who's recently lost quite a lot of capital through the collapse of my Forex funds, I was really amazed at the fact that CTI were one of the first, if not one of the only, prop firms that actually released a statement on the collapse of my Forex funds, which I think was quite amazing to do. Even FTMO haven't done that so far. Yeah. And, in terms of customer service, for me, you and people that are watching this, that's a really reassuring thing to have, knowing that a company that you are effectively paying for a service, whatever that may be, are there, they've got your back, they're there to help you when they need to. I think that's a really, really good quality to have. So in terms of kind of the future for you then, you obviously got your account at CTI. What's next? You've got your businesses. In terms of prop funding, are you going to continually grow your kind of prop portfolio?
I think that's naturally, that's the natural decision. Yeah. That's the natural direction I should take. Yeah. Because I think with CTI, you can scale up your account to like $2 million or something. Yeah. Like that, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully next 2, 3, 4 years, because I'm a really patient analyst. I don't bombard the markets with trades. I really save my bullets just for the right opportunities. So hopefully, maybe in the next year or two, hopefully I can be like a portfolio manager with $2 million. Who knows?
Love it. If that happens, you heard it here first. Legima is going to fly me all inclusive out to Cameroon. He's going to put me up in the best hotel, and we're going to do this interview in person next time.
Definitely.
That's a really kind offer of you. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You can hold me to it.
That's officially on the recording now as well, so you can't get away from it. One thing I like to do in these interviews is to ask you some kind of final questions, some kind of thought-provoking questions that can hopefully inspire or help new traders, or even the experienced traders, maybe think a little bit differently. So I've got 3 questions for you, and then I've got a question left by Vasil, our guest from last week. So I'm going to go through them one by one. I can't wait to hear what you've got to say. So question number 1, what has trading taught you?
Trading has taught me a lot about myself. Trading has actually opened me to compartments of my brain that I didn't know existed. Believe me, what this chart can do to you as a human being, some of the hormones you secrete once you're on the chart, some of the emotions that you have, and some of the self-control that you develop over time. I think only trading can bring that out. And trading has really shown me, how far, my human psychology can be tested. I think if there was a psychology meter that we could look at how strong or how weak your psychology is, I think I should have finished that meter by now. Because right now, for me, the psychology doesn't exist. Actually, I tell people I have 2 brains. I have the brain for real life, and then I have the trading brain. So trading has made me create 2 brains.
I love that. Yeah. Can you give us an example of how you've used this skill? Because it is a skill. Can you give us an example of how you've used this skill in real life, how it's benefited you?
It's helped me. First of all, trading has made me to be patient with everything. So when I look at myself and I look at the people around me, there are times that you're hit with a problem and you don't know what to do. What trading has taught me is to breathe, take like 5 minutes back and just think. Trading has taught me to think, and just by thinking, I've been able to solve so many real world problems, that have not just helped me, it's helped loved ones around me, it's helped strangers even. So, and trading has also helped me to think intuitively and very, very fast, because there are times on the charts that you have to take a decision like that, a financial decision, that can either make your week go up or it can either make your week go down. So it's like two sides of the coin. And it's taught me balance as well, because while doing this, you have to maintain a balanced life. You're not going to lose a trade and you're going around insulting people. You have to still be nice to people. So trading has taught me how to be balanced in life.
Love that. What a great answer. Question number 2. What advice would you give to somebody wanting to start trading?
First advice, most important advice, educate yourself. It's going to not the free stuff on YouTube is good, but it's not good enough, right? If everyone could learn from YouTube, then everyone would be successful analysts. Everyone would be funded like you and I, Chris. But the problem that we have out there, like you said at some point in this interview, is that people don't respect the game.
Yeah.
Now, what is respecting the game? I'm going to take a couple of examples. If I look at sports, if I look at Cristiano Ronaldo has been playing football literally 18 plus years of his life. Today, he has a monster contract in Saudi Arabia because he spent all these years honing his skills. So he's literally invested time and money into his skills. Yeah. If I take another example, like a medical doctor, they go to school 7+ years, in some cases 14 years, to become like a neurosurgeon or a brain surgeon before they're able to demand the kind of wages that they earn. And the list goes on and on. So why does the narrative change when it comes to currency analysis and foreign exchange trading? It's simple. People are treating this like a hustle. People are treating this like some part-time thing. And people don't respect the game. And if you don't respect the game, then you're not going to invest resources into learning how the system works. People watching need to understand, you guys need to understand that trading is a business. And business, any kind of business you're doing in this world, has two sides of it. There's going to be the profitable side, there's going to be the risky side. Now, in the real world, in real businesses, if you look at maybe a retail shop, you look at a corner store that somebody owns, if it gets on fire and you go and bid the owner, most likely that owner has an insurance policy on it, and the insurance company can pay back that person and the person can start business again. So literally your first step of insuring yourself against losses. I have a monologue on losses on my Instagram page, by the way, 1 hour video. The first way you can insure yourself against losses is to invest in your education. And good foreign exchange training and education is going to come at a cost. For me, it came at a very, very high cost.
Yeah.
But once you do that, and once you have proper mentorship, then you're going to be able to protect yourself from the market, because if you have a good mentor, if you have a good trading education material or course that you're going through, that course owes you risk management. Guys, without knowing risk management, I don't care if you have the best strategy in the world. If you can't play defense, then you can't offend. So basically what my course does is that it teaches you how to manage risk. That's the first thing I do. I start teaching people risk management from the first day, because if I wait to the end of the course, then it's going to be late. So guys, invest in your education. It's so important. Good education is not on YouTube. You're going to meet a guy like Chris, you're going to meet a guy like me. And how are you going to know we're good? If somebody tells you they know how to trade, ask them a few questions. One of the questions you can ask them is, what is your market history? What's a market history? Anybody who's been trading for some time has some account somewhere which shows, the history of the account over a period of 6 months, over a period of a year.
Yeah.
On that history, you're going to see a profit factor. You're going to see the win percentage and things like that. Those are things that you can actually ask this person who wants to sell you this lofty course. I'm not saying people shouldn't sell courses expensively, but there are a couple of questions you can ask. You can talk to friends. You can go on social media. You can look at these people. You can ask 1 or 2 people. Then if you're sure about the institution, about the individual that is proposing this training to you, you go for it. Pay for that training. Once you pay for the training, remain consistent, trust the process, and I can guarantee you, we'll meet you at the top, or you will meet us at the top.
I think, you hit the nail on the head, really. The education side of it is so, so important. And I think everybody goes on that same journey where they start off with YouTube and free education and Discord groups and things like that, and quickly learn that really, that all the information is technically out there. It's all effectively on YouTube and it's on Instagram, but having somebody coach you and mentor you and kind of tell you, don't do this, do that instead. This is the reason why that didn't work. This is the reason why there's, it's that you're paying for that I think is really, really important. And I think it's frustrating, isn't it, sometimes we both have our own students ultimately, and it's frustrating sometimes how, regardless of what you and I will say today, they'll still probably go on the same journey that you and I went on. And
exactly.
everyone you speak to has done the same thing. I wish, I wish there was, I've got a couple of friends who I've kind of helped trade, and we're a year or two down the line now, and they're still not quite where they should be if they just kind of taken a step back and listened to me. But look, I think that's part of the process. I think education is so important. I only really became good at trading when I got into my first mentorship. And then it took 3, 4, 5 different mentorships before I found my own trading personality. I think everybody has, every strategy works some of the time. You have to find the one that resonates best with you as an individual. I think that's really, really important as well. So yeah, thank you. So the big question.
Yeah.
Who is the best trader you've ever come across in the industry? And you can't say me. Okay, you've got to choose someone else. Okay, you've got to choose someone else. I'm sorry.
Definitely. That will be Daisy Duncan.
Okay. Tell me a bit about them.
Daisy Duncan actually was one of my mentors on one of my, I think on the first structured program I ever did. She's based in the US. And the way she broke down, trading in general, she made it look so easy. And, when I look at her records and her strategy, and her history, this lady has some of the best trading psychology that exists in the industry. So I would have to go with Daisy Duncan.
Love that. And I think, hopefully some of our viewers can research her and, find out a bit about her as well. Now, the question that Vasil left for you last week is, so what I'd like to do is get each guest to leave a question for the next guest. So I'm going to ask you Vasil's question, and then after this interview, you're going to send me an email with your question. That's going to go to the next guest. So Vasil has asked, why trading? What is your motivation for doing exactly this?
Okay, so I think that's a question in 2 parts. Why trading? For me, trading is freedom. For me, trading is literally, God giving me the paintbrush to paint my own destiny. If I was in a job, then that destiny would have to be painted by someone else.
Yeah.
But literally, with the skill set that I have today, I can paint my own destiny. I can literally create the lifestyle that I want to live, because I'm not yet driving a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or a G-Wagon, but I know with the skill set that I have, literally the future is mine. And what was the second part of the question?
The second part of the question, I'll come back to. Just to add to that, I think, that's freedom so important. For me, freedom, I think financial freedom is really important, especially with over in the UK now, cost of living crisis and things like that. Things are expensive, and it's nice to have that second stream of income coming in to help out with things like that. For me, I'm similar to you. I'm not a flashy guy. I'm not interested in Rolexes. I can see you and I have got we've got the same Samsung watch on by the looks of it. Or you might yours, yeah. I'm not into Rolexes or APs or designer clothes. This t-shirt's from Primark. It fits me really nicely and I love it.
And it looks amazing.
Thank you. For me, it's about, I still work at the same time. I'm a very busy guy. I do my own trading. I've got my own Forex mentorship, and I still work. So for me, it's about giving me my time back. Not financial freedom is only part of it. For me, it's about time. There's only one commodity in this life that we can never have enough of, and that's time. And you never know when this life will be taken away from you. So for me, my main goal here was just to give me my time back, time to spend time with my family and not be stuck in the office, time to take my family away for the weekend and spend time with my friends and not have to say, I can't do that because I've got to go to work. And I think, freedom's really key. If you're in this for money or Lamborghinis or Rolex watches, then you're in it for
got it all wrong.
Got it all wrong. That's it. So the second part of the question is, what is your motivation for doing this? I think you've kind of answered that really. So why trading?
But I think I'd like to answer it one more time.
Yeah, go.
So today I'm a CEO. I own this company, and what really motivates me is every time I'm able to transform my skill to somebody who knew nothing about the market. And you're looking at this guy or this girl, this woman or this man 6 months down the line. And if it was an individual that was consistent, if it was an individual that was disciplined, because one of the things I teach people is discipline and consistency. If it was an individual that had these two things, and you look at the transformation of this individual from when they stepped through those doors to start their course at the academy and where they are now, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
Chris, it is so satisfying to teach a novice how to trade, and 6 months down the line, they're funded trader and they're withdrawing money from their account. It is so satisfying.
You've changed their lives.
Yeah, I literally have the ability. I wouldn't say power. Only God has the power. I literally have the ability today to change people's lives.
Yeah.
One guy told me, I think that was a couple of months ago, that today he feels like a man. He's able to take care of his bills. He's able to take care of his parents' bills. His mom falls sick. He's able to take the mom to the hospital and pay the bills. For me, that is a life-changing kind of experience that guy has had because of my knowledge, because of me. So in terms of motivation, that's where my motivation comes from. Having the ability or being blessed with the capacity and the possibility to change people's lives with my skill set.
What a perfect answer, and I think a really perfect way to round up our interview. Legima, I've loved talking with you. I think you're on an incredible journey. I think your morals and your motivation behind this are really unbelievable. And I think so many people, like we just discussed, go into this for the wrong reasons, but you're in it for all the right reasons. So look, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I look forward to that flight out to Cameroon next year.
It won't be next year though. I don't know when I'm going to hit 2 million.
I'm definitely going to be putting a date in the diary for you and I to catch up. I'm sure we'll keep in contact anyway, but for you and I to catch up in a year's time, it's going to be a date in my diary. Go and check in on Legima and see what's going on. And let it's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much.
Pleasure's mine, Chris.
Cheers.